Hello everyone, the Green Scorpion here, and you know what? I love Punch-Out! And you want to know what else? I also love the Wii. And so, I love Punch-Out Wii. When I saw this game on the store shelves, I was looking forward to playing it, and when I did, I wasn't disappointed. It's classic, arcade-style boxing action just like the old days, with some tune-ups such as upgraded graphics, being able to play the game with classic or motion controls, which I actually preferred, and awesome characters, specifically the boxers that Little Mac has to face. The characters in this game have so much color, so much personality, that I decided to compose a list on all of them. Here, I will be counting down the top 15 Punch-Out Wii boxers, starting with what I think is the worst to what I think is the best. I'll be judging these boxers based on visual design and creativity, personality, backstory, fighting style, level of difficulty, caricature, and music. Also, I won't be including Little Mac in here, mainly because we all know that he is the best. And lastly, I am spoiling the game here, so if you want to avoid that, you may want to stop watching and come back after you've played the game. Alright, fists are going to fly here. Let's begin. King Hippo is honestly the weakest of all the characters in the game. Not in terms of strength, but rather in characterization and execution. Punch-Out is known for having characters that have a certain caricature based on their heritage. King Hippo, on the other hand, doesn't really have a caricature, and we know nothing of his backstory. All we know is that he's a self-proclaimed king from some random island, and he has an appetite that can rival even Kirby's. He doesn't even have a speech pattern. All he does is mumble and grumble throughout the entire time you face him. The fight against him isn't that great either. At first, he's incredibly difficult because his physical strength deals a lot of damage, but then he becomes pathetically easy because his fighting pattern is very easy to get used to, and all you need to do to beat him is bring down his health bar once. This is also the case in Title Defense, where it just becomes a tacked-on puzzle boss in the beginning when you have to remove his manhole cover. However, the two things that King Hippo does do well are that he is a somewhat memorable character in his appearance, and his rendition of the Punch-Out theme is pretty cool. But all in all, that's about it. Knockout!
Why don't you love me?
Yeah, I really don't think Super Macho Man is that good. The first time I fought him, he immediately creeped me out.
Are you ready? 'Cause I'm gonna put on a show.
Yeesh. Super Macho Man's caricature is the California Surfer dude. While that's a good idea, the execution came off as incredibly annoying. Mainly because Super Macho Man is full of himself, his appearance is over the top, and his catchphrases get annoying very quickly.
Pump it! Crunch time! Hang 10!
However, there are some good qualities about this guy. As the first ranked boxer in the world circuit, this guy is a formidable fighter in both contender mode and title defense mode, and his attacks do a great deal of damage. His fighting style isn't bad either. He mainly attacks you with uppercuts and hooks, which include his signature move, the Super Macho Clothesline attack, which consists of 3 clothesline spins. Another thing that puts him higher than King Hippo is, while his caricature is annoying, it's a lot more recognizable. And finally, his surfer rendition of the Punch-Out theme makes his battle music one of the best in the game. So, while Super Macho Man isn't that good, he isn't totally bland either, putting him at number 14.
TKO!
Von Kaiser is a pretty cool character in this game. He's a military officer who hails from Berlin, Germany, and he brings his experience in the army to the ring, although his career has been somewhat successful. First of all, Von Kaiser's appearance is fitting, what with the combat boots, suspenders, and a freaking awesome mustache. His fighting style is also very unique. It's sort of a clockwork style, what with the clicking gear sounds and the fact that he imitates a cuckoo clock. This makes for a repertoire of quick jabs and some fierce uppercuts. The fight against Von Kaiser is very enjoyable, but the difficulty could stand to be a bit more challenging. Sure, he is the second boxer you fight in the game, but he isn't much harder than Glass Joe. No, seriously, my little 13-year-old cousin, who has never played the game before, was able to beat him just as easily as Glass Joe. However, he does become a much bigger challenge in title defense mode, bringing in some new moves, including his signature move, the Kaiser spin attack. So he certainly makes up for it, placing him at number 13.
TKO!
Now wait a minute! Donkey Kong was on your top 10 animals list, so why is he so low? In truth, I love Donkey Kong, but the way he is portrayed in this game was pretty subpar. Lately, Donkey Kong has made a reputation of being fierce, formidable, and tough. In this game, however, he's portrayed as a more playful character, which I don't think was a good choice, and his voice actor in this game didn't impress me at all. Even so, it is pretty cool to be able to fight against one of Nintendo's greatest characters in this game. Even though Donkey Kong's personality is a bit altered in this game, the fight against him is anything but easy. His attacks are some of the strongest in the whole game, and his fighting style is not easy to get used to. Donkey Kong attacks with backhand swings, punch claps, and downward swings, and the closer he is to defeat, the more attacks he'll perform on a single chain. He also makes a few allusions to other games he starred in during the fight, including carrying little Mac away like he did Pauline back in the original Donkey Kong. While Donkey Kong's execution isn't the best in this game, the fight against him makes for a great challenge, and I enjoy fighting him every time.
Knockout!
Bald Bull is a force to be reckoned with. Hailing from Istanbul, Turkey, Bald Bull is a well-renowned boxer with a seriously bad temper. In fact, one look at Bald Bull, and you know that he is someone you do not want to fool around with. The fight against Bald Bull is among the hardest in the game, which is fitting since he is a second-ranked boxer in the world circuit. In fact, fighting him is so challenging that I honestly think he should have been rank 1 instead of Super Macho Man. His fighting style mainly consists of some tricky jabs and hard-hitting hooks, but what really sets this guy apart from the other boxers in the game is his signature move, the Bull Charge. Simply put, if he hits you with that move, you're going down, no questions asked. On the flip side, however, this makes him vulnerable to an instant knockdown if you strike him at the right time during his attack, but taking that route is very risky. The main reason that Bald Bull doesn't hit the top 10 is because his backstory and caricature isn't fleshed out enough, and his rendition of the Punch-Out theme isn't very impressive. Still, when you come around to fight this guy, be ready for a very rough battle.
Ready for this? Yeah, Disco Kid!
Here we have the only newcomer in the game. Disco Kid made his first appearance here on Punch-Out Wii, and he certainly left his mark as a great boxer in this game. His personality and caricature portray him as a renowned and successful disco dancer, and his fighting style revolves around that. Also, this guy is seriously flamboyant. But it's that characteristic that actually makes him very entertaining, especially in title defense mode, where he fights you while wearing leotards. Wow. The fight against him is very fun. His fighting style, as I said, revolves around his dancing skill, and he attacks you with some quick jabs and fast hooks. He also brings his signature move to the table in title defense mode known as Disco Flurry, a combination of 3 very fast jabs. For a character that is new to the Punch-Out world, Disco Kid certainly holds up with his entertaining personality and for providing a fun boxing match. Welcome to the roster, Disco Kid.
Ouch!
Bear Hugger is one of the more fun characters in Punch-Out Wii. He is depicted as a stereotypical Canadian who loves maple syrup, ice hockey, and bears, as his name implies. Although, with the exception of some characteristics like the love of maple syrup and saying A all the time, I doubt many Canadians are like this. Caricature aside, Bear Hugger's personality is really funny. Throughout the fight, he always has a competitive smile about him, and he is always sleeping in the corner. His catchphrases aren't bad either, certainly not as annoying as Super Macho Man's. Also, in title defense mode, he even brings along a squirrel companion that plays a major role in his fighting style. Speaking of which, his fighting style in contender mode mainly consists of hooks and even downward strikes, and his signature move, the Bear Hug, deals a massive load of damage. However, he switches it up in title defense mode by adding delayed attacks and fakeouts that can really throw you off guard. And lastly, his rendition of the Punch-Out theme is amazing, what with the quick playing banjos and clarinets. Bear Hugger is certainly one of the more fun characters in the game, and takes the number 9 spot on the list.
TKO!
Piston Hondo is proof that the Japanese can be stereotypical even towards themselves. This boxer has practically all the typical traits one would expect from a Japanese stereotype, including bowing before a battle and a love for sushi. Piston Hondo's backstory is pretty interesting. He hails from Tokyo, Japan, and it's revealed that he treats boxing much like any other martial art, with discipline, patience, and much training. His personality matches that idea as well. During the fight, he shows honor by bowing to Little Mac before the fight, and he always keeps a cool head throughout the fight. Then there's the fight itself. Piston Hondo is the first boxer you face in the major circuit, and his fighting style is very fierce and quick. In fact, Piston Hondo is arguably the quickest fighter in the game. All of his attacks are very fast, and his signature move, the Hondo Rush, consists of a flurry of jabs that are too quick to dodge, so this is where your blocking skills are put to the test. Lastly, there is a unique story behind Piston Hondo's name. Originally, his name was Piston Honda in the previous Punch-Out games, but it was later changed to Hondo because they feared that the car company Honda would press charges due to the name and the fact that a piston is a part of a car. Man, I hate copyright laws.
TKO!
You got him, kid.
Oh boy, this guy seriously doesn't mess around. Hailing from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, Mr. Sandman worked his way from the bottom to become the world champion of the World Video Boxing Association, or WVBA. Many gamers assume that Mr. Sandman is an allusion to both Mr. Dream and Mike Tyson from the first game, which is correct. However, many have compared Mr. Sandman's appearance to the real-life boxer Joe Frazier, who also hails from Philadelphia. The fight against him, as one would expect, is the hardest in the game. All of his attacks deal a huge amount of damage, and his fighting style, consisting of all the basic boxing moves, leaves very little time to react to his telegraphs. He also has a signature move known as the Dreamland Express, where he tries to fake you out before dealing a series of 3 hard-hitting uppercuts. He also becomes much quicker and brings in some new moves in title defense mode, including a lightning-fast uppercut where he winks before delivering it. This is an allusion to the original Punch-Out where Mike Tyson also winks before his attack. Mr. Sandman is basically a huge allusion to a lot of Punch-Out and boxing-related elements. But the only thing that bugs me about him is that we know little of his backstory. Even still, Mr. Sandman has become a favorite among Punch-Out fans, and it's no different here.
Knockout!
Hope you guys like this list so far. Part 2 is coming very soon.